Hey guys, do let me know if everything's working because I have a little bit of a different setup this week. But I think it should be working. But yeah, need your help to kind of check if it does or not. Hey Don, hey man, good to see you. An Abend und good eve. I don't know why good eve, but you mean good evening? Yeah, same to you. So yeah, mic working? I assume it does because no one's saying anything about it not working. Yep, we hear you. How's the quality? Is it good, bad, whatever? Loud enough, clear enough, all of that stuff. Nice, okay. Thank you very much. Before we start, big shout out to the sponsor of the show, Bybit. They make it happen, so thank you, Bybit. Their links are in the description. They have like a trading challenge going on right now. So yeah, do check them out. Mic is too quiet. I'll get it closer. I think that might help. I don't know. Sounds hot as always. Thanks, Dale. Thanks, man. Okay, so yeah, I mean, a lot has happened since the last time we spoke, right? So we'll talk about like pretty much everything. I think makes sense. I think just to get over it quickly. But yeah, Bitcoin broke to the upside. I mean, we've had this plan, right, where I said it either goes up and then I think it goes down, or it goes down immediately and then goes straight back up. I planned for, like, I traded the second plan and that didn't work out. Now I'm wondering if the first plan would have been the better choice. Probably would have. We'll see if that plays out, but we'll talk about everything. So starting from the high time frames, monthly smashed through resistance, but hasn't closed above it yet. You sound sad, Don? Yep. No, I'm very, very good actually. I mean, just had like been climbing a lot, been enjoying the weather, been doing good. But yeah, the monthly smash through resistance hasn't closed above it yet. So if we could get like a blow off top and then actually close back below that resistance, I think it's fucked. I think that's the top. But if it doesn't, and if it starts to close higher, I think there's a chance we go to 14K before heading down. So this is going to be interesting the next 2 days. If we kind of get a move up, or if we even had that move up already and then just start meandering down. If we close below 10K on the monthly, I think that's it. And I'll be very aggressive in shorting, not just like testing the waters, but like very, very aggressive. But until that happens, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to just go hard at it, because really, if it closes back above, I don't think I want to be mega short. What do you think will happen above or below? What I think, from what I can see, I could see it close at 10.7 and then dip to like 10 next month, and then I would have to reconsider like what I'm gonna do, because 10 is gonna be support if it does. So probably like if it closes at 10.7, I wouldn't want to be short too low. Like 10K is pretty much like it's just gonna be support, so it's hard to justify shorting below it. But yeah, I think that is possible. 10.7. Generally speaking, I mean, yeah, I'll just wait and see, right? But I mean, for me, I'm still leaning bearish overall. Like I think it makes more sense, but I'm not gonna like just me being bearish doesn't mean I'm just gonna all in short. I mean, I can be bearish and not do anything, right? Like if there's no setup for me, I'm not gonna be overtly bearish, right? But like I'm gonna be bearish, but I'm not gonna like all in short. That's what I mean. Cred bullish and Don bearish. I mean, I'm not like I'm leaning bearish. I'm not saying this is gonna like crash to zero, right? I'm just saying in general what I've been doing, and I don't know if you guys read the newsletter or not, but in general, whenever we've kind of went to like 9, 10, 11, 12, even to 14K, I've just been bearish in this area, like pretty much the entire range, and been bullish below 6. So I'm gonna keep doing that until it stops working, right? And if this is the time, I'm gonna be the idiot that looks completely and utterly ridiculous by being being bearish into like the new all-time high, whatever. But yeah, that's like it's worked. I think it's worked 4 or 5 times on a higher time frame swing basis. So just doesn't make sense to me to ignore it. But yeah, we'll see. This monthly close is interesting and important, I think. Bulls want to keep it like in the 11.5 range. Bears want to at least push it below 10.7, if not to like 10K down here. Are you in a short at all? Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this in a second. I'll just go through the time frames and then we'll talk about like everything. Yeah, the weekly time frame also very, very interesting. I think you don't want to, like if you're bullish, you don't want to see a close back below 10.6. That has been the plan like from the get-go. I just kind of ventured off of it a little bit, but I said like take out 10.6 and then if it can't hold above, it's fucked. I still think it's the same. Like if we take out, like if we start closing back below 10.6, I think it's in trouble, and the moment it starts closing back below 9.7, I think we go much, much lower. Until that happens, I mean, if you're bullish in bullish positions, I mean, you can just keep those, I think. Maybe it never happens, right? Maybe this is just a springboard to all-time high, very possible. But yeah, if you're bullish, I mean, that's the nice part about this kind of breakout for like the bulls right now, because you've got some kind of clear invalidation because you really don't want to see it go back below 9.7. So 9.7 is the line in the sand, I think. And like, if it goes back below 10.6 this week, I think that's trouble. So yeah. But yeah, for me, I mean, I shorted 9.450, like I shorted this. No, that wasn't actually this. This was literally here. Was in profit for like 2 weeks. And then, I mean, I've tweeted about this too, where I said, okay, if we start closing back above this resistance here, shorts are in trouble. And I mean, did, and then it mega mooned. So yeah, de-risked a bit, still didn't make money, lost money in this move, even though trading balances are in Bitcoin. So definitely mistraded that. Not gonna pretend I didn't. So yeah, this is one of the times where I'm like, ah, shit, missed out on a big move, and didn't even just miss out, but also lost a bit of money. Nothing terrible because I'm still in vacation mode, enjoying everything. It's like the weather and like climbing, because I've been getting back into that, but still shouldn't have happened, but happens, right? But yeah, that's like the 2 most important time frames, I think. Weekly and monthly, those are the ones that you want to be watching. The closes, I mean, you don't have to be too you don't have to wait too long, right? Because the weekly closes in 4 days. So if the weekly close is below 10.6, I mean, that's trouble. The monthly is in 2 days, and you don't want to see 10.7 as a bull. And I mean, if it closes back below 10, I think that's just, yeah, you just short that and ride it much lower. So I'm gonna, like, with any kind of big size, big move, whatever, I'm gonna wait for that. My gut still tells me it's gonna go down, but I mean, that has been wrong before, and I don't really have it set up right now. So that's the answer to a couple of questions in the chat. The title is a little bit of a joke, whatever. I thought it was funny. I don't know. What is monthly closes at 10.6 and weekly closes at 10.8? I mean, generally speaking, the higher time frame wins, right? So if the monthly closes below like 10.7, I still think like we're gonna go to 10 or retest 10. So yeah, it's just like whenever that stuff happens, right? This is a good setup for the monthly and the weekly to close. Like if it's truly, like if it's at all bearish, right? Bears should drive it back down to 10 and below 10 for the, like below 10 for the monthly and then below 10.6 for the weekly, right? If it's at all bearish. So yeah, I mean, that's just, if it doesn't happen, right? If it happens on one time frame and not the other, you don't have confidence and you don't want to be big short, right? I mean, you can short tiny and then hope for it, and sometimes it works. But if you don't have the confluence, you gotta be careful a little bit anyway. Where are you from, Don? Germany. Don voice is telling all fucked up. Really? I mean, it's a new microphone, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Like I talk like normal. But yeah, I've been having a tough week with like completely exhausted myself. So maybe that's what you're hearing, but who knows? Been challenging some projects that I've been doing like years ago, and now trying to get back in good shape. Sounds fine to me, just a bit tired. I mean, yeah, a little bit maybe. Jesus, everyone's analyzing my voice. It's like, yeah, you're still safe in Deutschland? I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't be. Is there something going on that I should know about? But yeah, that's Bitcoin. Like those are the two levels to watch. Like if you're watching the charts at all, wait for the 2-day, see where it closes. Like if it gives you any indication, okay, this is just closing like 1 or 2K above like resistance. That doesn't mean it's gonna go straight up, right? Like let's say the monthly closes up here. It's still very possible that it retests 10K, but in general, I think then like the direction is up, right? Till like 14K, and then reevaluate at 14K. Like that's a possibility, I think, right? But if it starts closing below 10.7 and 10, that's why you gotta be really careful, I think. And like I said, the weekly, same deal, very simple. 10.6, you don't want to see it close below that, and in general, you don't want to see it trading below 9.7 again. Like if it starts trading below 9.7, I'm saying expect lower. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, right? And the daily time frame, I mean, that's very clean as well, I think. So took out the highs here, right? So what you really don't want to see is trade in here and then come back in this old range. So same deal as on the high time frames. If we get that, I think you get out the way and then you get like a massive move down. If you don't get it, maybe this continues parabolically. So that's kind of like the one thing to watch out for. And I think it's pretty nice that it's actually like a very clear picture with like straight up like a really good trade opportunity, in the sense of, okay, if 10K, or like in this case, like if 10.5 or something gives, you can just go heavy short with an invalidation up here, and I think you're not gonna get fucked by it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for anyway. Like that be the most clean setup that I can think of. And if it keeps going straight up, like if it closes above resistance on the monthly, I'm just gonna I might look for bids at 10. Like if it does what I said earlier, when it starts closing above here, like at 12 or 11 or whatever, I might bid 10 and see if I can ride it to 14 and then heavy short there. Those are my kind of plans, but we'll see what Bitcoin gives us, right? Could you increase your output volume? I think it's just, I can put my microphone somewhere else where I talk straight into it. Jeez, my chair is dying. Still watching the Doge level at 15 sats? Or would you not buy because of the TikTok activities? I'm still watching the same level, bro. So for me, and this is so funny, because I actually got insults hurled at me for saying that this is not gonna go, or that I'm not expecting it to go anyway. And now look at the monthly. Like, it's kind of hilarious, right? But no, my plan hasn't changed. This is actually like exactly what we talked about like 3 weeks ago, where I said this kind of spike up is actually very, very nice for it to capitulate into my bids. Is that gonna happen? I don't know, but I'll still bid. I'll still look for buys at around 15 and look if I can bid that. But yeah. So we talked about Bitcoin. Let's talk about ETH real quick. High time frame, really interesting as well. Really interesting close in 2 days. This is a setup, right, that I love to watch. When you have a range and then an incoming close, right? If this is bearish, you're gonna get some shenanigans into the close, and then like if it's bearish, you would wanna see it close below 267, right? That's quite a bit away. It's pretty much the same deal as Bitcoin, where you wanna see like the close below the boundary. I mean, if it closes at 290, same thing, I would expect 267 to act as support. And then, I mean, it could still just go down from there, but it doesn't have to. I think if it closes below 269, it's just gonna go lower with very high conviction. So whenever I see something like this, I wait for the monthly close. And if it's below the resistance, I just short it. And if it's not, I don't. Generally speaking, 2 days pretty short. So something crazy would have to happen, but I mean, it's crypto, right? We've seen that before. So above a range before a close, I always get like, let's say longed, we talked about this on stream while it was crashing, like, right? About longing like 100. Like, let's say you did that and you held all the way like a hero, right? I didn't, but I mean, if you did, you don't want to like take the extra risk, I think, being still in the long for the 2 days. So what you could do is just avoid the volatility in the last 2 days, get out, and then re-long if it closes above, and stay out if it closes below, right? That's something that I usually do. I mean, in this case, I couldn't because I didn't keep the long, but yeah, you've got a nice trading range. This could be the top, but it's only gonna be the top if the monthly is closing back below 267, I think, which could happen, but it's not necessarily super likely because, I mean, if you look at it, 16% away. I mean, that's possible, I think. Like 10% Bitcoin dump wouldn't be out of the ordinary if ETH BTC goes back down too. So yeah, it's a possibility. We'll see what happens, right? And I mean, if it closes below, I think there's a good 30% trade to be had back down to 180. If it doesn't, I mean, the next resistance that you have very clear up here. And then you're expecting bull market up there. So, I mean, if you do that, it's fine too. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the monthly as well. This is the cleanest like trading range, and I've traded this so many times that I'm just gonna expect it to work. So like my gut tells me this might actually close back in the at least in the boundary in here. But I mean, I don't know, been wrong this month before, might be wrong again. Is Loom here to explain his dumb tweets? Dude, Loom's tweets are hidden genius. You just gotta understand them. Will you consider buying Bitcoin around 9K and not 6K since Bitcoin trends look strong now? No, I don't think so. I mean, longing and shorting, whatever, trading this, I don't mind, right? Like I said, like let's say Bitcoin closes this month at 12K. I'm gonna look for a long at 10, ride it to 14, or like maybe even like 10.8, ride it to 14. But I'm not gonna be like a Bitcoin buyer in general. Like I'm gonna be a Bitcoin trader. But I still think like anything above like 9 to 10K is expensive for Bitcoin. So yeah, for me, this is gonna happen like sideways for pretty much. I'm gonna treat it as sideways forever. If it doesn't happen, like if it breaks out here, I mean, it's gonna be obvious that that relationship has ended, and then I'm gonna reconsider. But the fact is, I mean, I got to play this, like I played it short up here. I got to long it down here. I got to buy it down here again, obviously sold too early, and then got to sell here, here, and here, right? From me expecting it to go sideways. So, I mean, I'm not gonna just stop doing that just because everyone keeps getting more bullish. I mean, it could obviously, like at some point it's gonna break out, and it's gonna break out to the up or the downside. And the break up seems more likely given the trend, right? Like the high time frame trend. But the fact of the matter is it's been going sideways. And I'm going to treat it as going sideways till it doesn't. Or until I'm like mega bullish. I mean, that's just how I like to play it. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at, generally speaking. Like when you have like a strong uptrend, it's obvious, oh yeah, you just buy dips and hold. But in the sideways like this, like everyone keeps talking, like when this went up, everyone was like, the trend is bullish now, it's gonna go up. And then it went all the way back down. And while it was going down here, everyone was like, the trend's bearish, it's gonna go down. And it went all the way back up, right? So I'm gonna expect it to keep this relationship wherever it's gonna go, right? And until it doesn't anymore. So not gonna just willy-nilly buy somewhere just because I feel like, oh shit, it's gonna go up. I need some evidence. And I mean, it's good. It's a good start, right? If you start closing the monthly above here, I mean, there's not really that good of resistance left. Like there's only this 14K resistance. So if it closes here and then retraces and spikes this to like 15 or 16, I mean, that looks pretty good. And then if it starts closing back below there, I mean, then you might get a bigger retracement. So, I mean, I'm going to trade that, but I'm not going to be like big into, okay, I'm going to shift my portfolio into Bitcoin more. It doesn't make much sense to me. If ducks have no arms, how is he using a mouse? I've caught a human helper, and then I just tell him what to do. When do you think Bitcoin will test the 6K range? I don't know. Like if it closes below 10K this month, right? Let's assume that. I think it's gonna be back at 6K in 4 months or 5 months. If it closes below. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna expect it to go to 6K until it does, right? Like let's say it closes here, goes up, and then I'm not gonna expect it to go down there until it goes all the way back below this monthly level. If it at any point closes back below this monthly level, I'm gonna expect 6K. And if it closes this month below there, I'm gonna expect 6K. So that's kind of my view on it. A lot of people said, oh yeah, you're coping. I mean, maybe, right? Maybe. The thing is, like, I've traded this the same way, right? For me, I've traded this the same way like 5 or 6 times. If that's cope, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, Could obviously be me just being delusional. And I mean, I'm gonna look delusional at some point when this range breaks to the upside or the downside, right? Let's say this goes back down and I'm the guy that buys 6K and it just goes down to 1, which I don't think will ever happen, but let's say it does. I'm gonna be looking like a fucking idiot. And I'm willing to take that risk. I'm the same thing. I'm willing to take the risk when it goes back up for saying, okay, I don't think like 10K, 11K, 12K is a good spot buy. Use CTRL, yeah, control Z instead of pointing over and delete. Yeah, I would do that. The thing is, like with the new microphone, typing is super loud. So I'm just trying to avoid you some ear troubles. That's why I'm clicking. But if I do it like super silently, you're fine. But yeah, it's more of an effort. So yeah, we talked about ETH. I think the monthly is the only one that you want to be watching. You've got the weekly though, like it closed back above like 2 resistances. So I mean, that's a good sign for the ETH pools in general. I still think like the monthly is the only one that is really important. Like if it closes back above here, that validates the weekly breakout, I think, and then you can play it to 377, I think. It might pull back, but I think that's where it's headed if it does confirm that. Right? So close somewhere where it's at right now. I think there's a good chance we go to weekly or monthly resistance next. And then like if you get a dip into this box, you can just try to buy that with a stop below here. I mean, that's, people are gonna say, oh, this is a bad risk reward ratio or whatever, right? Oh jeez. But for me, I don't really think so. Like these kind of trades are actually one of the ones that I really like. Like let's say this monthly closes back above, right? It's actually really a risk defined trade where you're like, okay, that's like, why would you hate on this kind of trade? I don't, like the stop's like pretty wide, right? But I mean, that, I think that has like more than a 50% chance to play out, and the risk reward ratios too. So yeah. That's the only kind of setup that I could think of. If the, like maybe even if you want to be like 100% sure that you get on board, like something like this, and then you, still not a bad trade, I think. If it closes back below, I think you definitely don't want to be long. So next 2 days, important, like I said. If SPX dumps, will it take Bitcoin down again too? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it depends on like if it is gonna dump, right? It's actually an interesting spot right now, the SPX. Oh, this is the old one. Like depending, and this is actually something that you gotta be mindful of. Like this is how I drew the lines like ages ago, and then I got this bearish setup. And this is like some kind of retest into an up move, right? And then if you draw the line differently, namely from the body of the candle, you get a bearish retest. So I mean, can make the chart look like you want it to. But in general, like this is an area of resistance. So if this week, and this is also gonna be an interesting close, if this week closes back below that resistance, I think that opens up the possibility of it just doing something like this, right? Is that gonna happen? I don't know. Who knows at this point, right? Everything is just mental. Everything's just going crazy. Everyone is losing their minds. So, I mean, fuck if I know, right? But that is kind of what I'm looking at for the SPX as well. So if this goes down, it starts crashing, I think Bitcoin goes with it. But it would have to go down relatively soon. The thing is, like, even if this, like, if Bitcoin closes above resistance and the SPX nukes, I mean, Bitcoin might just go with it. So, not the easiest market to trade right now, just based on that, I think. I prefer it when they're uncorrelated, but I guess that's what we're gonna have to deal with from now on. So, yeah, ETH BTC also interesting. Finally made a move, and then got absolutely crushed by the Bitcoin move, right? So, I mean, I've been saying I don't see a reason to short it. I'm not mega bullish on it, but I don't see a reason to short it. I mean, I could see a reason to short it now, based on the fact that we just wiped out pretty much every bear and then rejected. But I think like the safe bet and the one that I'm willing to take is we lose this support and we lose this support. That's the worst X I've ever done. Jesus. If we lose this and this, like this support and this support, I think it's cooked, right? At that point, I mean, you could even have like a triple confirmation if it goes below here. At that point, I think we're just gonna head back to the range low, and then you have a nice, even if you don't catch the range high, like you've got a nice like 25% move down. Until that happens, I mean, it makes more sense to be bullish than bearish, but I wouldn't want a long here. But that's just personal preference. So, I mean, up, down, sideways, whatever. The good setup, I think, is if it starts trading below this, and then you have like a clear-cut short, I think, where it's like you've got this system or like this setup in place, which is pretty decent, I think, because that has like way above, like if it starts closing back below there, way above like 50% chance of playing out. I think it's actually like quite a bit above. But yeah, that's the short setup that I'd be willing to take if it starts going down. Long wise, I don't even know. I'm not really interested in longing this. I mean, if I like really wanted to long, and I'm not gonna take this, but if I really wanted to long, I'd be looking for it in this area. So yeah, if you're mega bullish ETH, I think that's the place to do it. I'm not gonna, I'm not interested. If it's gonna go up without me, I don't really care. Like, it's not something that I wanna be trading bullish. Don't ask me why, it's just not interested. But yeah, might be a mistake, right? Might go 10x, who the fuck knows? Like, even if it did, I don't really think I care. I'd be focused on the ETH USD chart more so than the ETH BTC chart. But yeah, that's ETH. ADA's been dumping a little bit. Still doesn't look too terrible, I think. Still nothing like trade-wise, I think that's interesting. And then we have all these shitty whatever the fuck candles that happened like in the last few days. I mean, this is just a Bittrex shenanigans shit, like whatever that was. That was just on Bittrex. But yeah, some of these coins actually not too terrible, I think. Like, these reactions are not too terrible. Some of these reactions are not too terrible. Like, you've got you mega dump, and then you get this pump. I don't really mind those at all. I'm not sure if I want to long it yet. But yeah, this is something to watch, I think. That happened on Bitcoin Cash and on Litecoin. So those are the ones like Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Those are the majors that I'm watching. I'm still not really sold on it, but yeah, like if I had to long something, those would be the two. And then EO still looks like absolute crap, I think. GRX, same deal. XRP is meh. This doesn't look too terrible either. Low time frame wise, but big time frame. Still nothing out of the ordinary. But it's not too terrible. Like XRP, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, not too bad. The other ones, meh. I wouldn't want to touch. But yeah, I mean, if you want to be shorting these, I don't really see the point. At least not before weekly and monthly close on Bitcoin and ETH. So once those are out of the way, do whatever you must. I don't think it makes much sense to just do something before it anyway. And then like in general, and this is something that I've been saying for 2 weeks, I think now, where I've said, okay, the moment Bitcoin volatility comes back in, altcoins are going to suffer. And I mean, you've had these dumps on pretty much all the non-majors. And this is interesting because the non-majors have been rallying, right? And the majors didn't do anything. Now the Bitcoins actually moved. The majors have been doing something, which is not dumb. The majors just gone like this, which isn't bad, right? Off of a big Bitcoin up move, this stuff isn't bad. While like the miners look absolute trash. Like these, like even the ones that should be looking good look absolute trash. Like I can go through this list. I mean, this isn't too bad, I think. Why, like, okay, I want to be buying this. I could see that. But yeah, generally speaking, like, this just looks bad. Like any coin you look at, just suffering off of the Bitcoin move, and the major's not looking too terrible. So I mean, there's definitely a change that I'm going to be watching. I'm going to see if I can figure out what is going on. If there's like a shift from like low caps into bigger caps, I could see that happen. But I'll have to research it a little bit more. So no idea why it's happening quite yet, but I'll figure it out. So I mean, for me personally, I think, because like if you guys remember, like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I've been saying get the illiquid stuff if you want to be buying altcoins. Those played out, I think. Like the illiquid stuff, you've had some really nice moves. Now I think it's the opposite. Like if you want to be in altcoins, I think get the liquid stuff, not the illiquid stuff. Reason for that, like one of the reasons that I could think of is now that Bitcoin's actually volatile, people want to get in and out of stuff. So you can't really get in and out of these coins, right? Like if you want to buy 10 Bitcoin of Stratus and then sell it again at some point, you're going to be, I mean, Stratus might even work because it's one of the bigger ones, but even that, like, it's going to be a struggle, right? And then if you look at like Litecoin, for example, if you're buying 10 Bitcoin of Litecoin over like 10 exchanges, not going to be too big of a trouble, and you can sell it again as well. So whenever it gets more volatile, I think it makes sense to kind of look at these ones, the ones that you can actually buy and sell without getting absolutely fucked. Even more so given like if Bitcoin rallies from here and goes to like 20K, like a lot of people are expecting, you're gonna be shit out of luck if you're stuck in an illiquid altcoin, because that thing is gonna dump. Because nothing can really compete with Bitcoin when it goes parabolic, right? And if Bitcoin starts dumping, you might actually see some lower wicks as well, just based on the fact that people start panicking, right? So I think it makes sense to focus on the big ones now and not on the smaller ones. But that's just my opinion. Do whatever you must. Someone said I'm not motivated anymore. Remember him posting a lot of nice setups in the past. I mean, the reason, like, there's a couple of reasons why I'm not posting like a lot of setups anymore. One, low time frame setups. I mean, if I post them and people copy trade them, I mean, like, let's say I'm looking at Bitcoin chart, right, on the 1 hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna short the run of a high, right? Like, let's say this goes up here, I'm gonna short the run of a high with a target of whatever here, right? I mean, that's like a $200 move, one that you could play. But if I made that public and traded that way, like, everyone that sees it could push those 200. And I mean, I would profit from it, yes, but I don't really want to be the guy that just posts setups, low time frames, and then profits off of like the followers pretty much. And yeah, I'm not interested in pushing the market left and right in that way anyway. So I just stay away from that anyway. And I mean, Bitcoin, I mean, I could do it still. but even more so talking about altcoins, right? If I shill like one of these altcoins really hard on my timeline, I could actually influence price, and I want to do it. So I don't do it anymore. I used to do it a lot because I had a small following and I didn't mind. Now that's one of the reasons, right? Now I have to be mindful. Okay, is this coin large enough? Is it liquid enough for me to talk about? And yeah, I don't want to do that. And then the second reason is when I post a position, like for example, Bitcoin, right? Like the way I traded this, and I mean, I didn't trade it well, right? But the way I traded this was I shorted the Pico top here, right? And then it went down. I mean, I got some funding, whatever, and went back up. And then I de-risked the moment it started closing back above the 3-day. And then I was like pretty much like in a smaller short position for a lot of this ride, right? So, I mean, I don't want to be updating that while I'm outside climbing or while I'm doing other shit, right? So when I know, okay, I'm not going to be able to update it, I don't want to post setups because really like I'm posting a setup and I'm not going to update, and then in hindsight say, okay, I got out in here, out, whatever. Got out, break even, whatever. I don't want to do the hindsight stuff. So there's like, if I'm super active, I don't mind sharing stuff, but that's another reason. Like there's a lot of reasons, and why I'm like not into like talking about like the altcoins, for example, or even like in this case, like this Bitcoin setup, wasn't entirely 100% sure about it, so I didn't want to post the setup because then I would have to update it, and sometimes I just don't feel like it. But yeah, there's definitely some sort of missing hunger from like back in the day I wanted to push Twitter. I don't really have that anymore. Like I'm like the cloud chase Twitter thing. Like my bank account is the thing that matters, not the likes on Twitter, right? And yeah. So that's that. But yeah, whatever, like, I mean, if you think that there's other reasons for it, be my guest. Please only share when you buy some spot positions then. No, I mean, I've shared that in the past, like the spot buys that I've shared, right? And I mean, those look really good because my spot buys, like I have high conviction, right? So I bought down here and I bought a shitload, actually bought here, got wrecked on that for a while. And then went up, bought more in this range. And I posted about all of these, right? Those were my spot buys. And I bought a shitload here and traded long. And then got bearish here and shorted a lot up here, right? So those, like my spot trades, whatever you want to call them, those have been working out really, really well. But that's because I just buy whenever something crazy happens, right? Obviously sold this too early, but I mean, selling too early isn't really like too terrible in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, there's just, I mean, I post these, the trades. I mean, there's going to be less and less and less as time goes on. It's just how it is, I think. But I mean, I talk about shit on stream, right? So. What city are you from, Don? I mean, I'm not gonna share. I've actually had people like DM me my fucking address and shit. So, I mean, some people seem to have figured it out, but yeah, around Munich. So. But yeah, that's it from like Bitcoin. We talked about enough about those. Someone asked for VeChain. I mean, we talked about it really quickly earlier. So I mean, if you're really bullish altcoins, right? If you think the altcoins are gonna go up, and I'm always gonna say this because I'm currently not buying those. So I'm just giving you like, if you like, this is support, right? You have support here. So if you're like really, really bullish altcoins, and really, really bullish VeChain, I mean, you could be looking for buys in here. I'm not going to be looking for buys because I'm not bullish on altcoins right now. I'm not really bearish either, to be quite honest. Like, I'm just not really too interested at this point in time. But I could see why you would want to be bullish altcoins. I think if I really wanted to be bullish altcoins, Bitcoin would have to go like either Bitcoin goes to 20K and altcoins dump. That would make me bullish altcoins. Or altcoins would have to dump really hard. Like, not going to be too bullish anything on a swing basis before then. But yeah, there's a setup to be had where you buy here and then look for, I mean, this is something that you could play, like target up here, buy in here, and I mean, pray to God that it doesn't go lower than this. Like, that's a setup that you could play, for example, in my opinion. I'm not going to play it, so, but yeah. So, I mean, have you guys seen this? It's actually crazy. BQX Voyager, good friend of mine is in there. Like, he's actually been, I've talked about this before, he's actually been in since the ICO, rode this entire way up and then rode this entire way down. Shit happens, right? Like, up and like, I don't know how much at the top and then down 99% from there. And now like he's super happy about it having gone up like 600%, still down 98%. But that's the crazy part, right? Like, it's up 600%, he's still 98% down from his all-time high. Like, what the fuck's that shit? Like, that's where I'm like, with the trend, there's always this trend discussion going on, right? Where people are like, why would you short this? This is obviously an uptrend, right? The shit's down 98%, it's obviously in a downtrend. So there's good reason for people, like, I mean, I wouldn't want to short altcoins in general. Doesn't make, like, I mean, sometimes I do, but rarely on the Bitcoin pair anyway, based on the fact that if it goes up, it's going to go up like 5, 6, 7 times. So you're going to make much more from longing than from it going down, even though it going down is more likely, right? So it's not really too keen on shorting everything. But like, when people say I'm bearish this, it makes more sense from a trend perspective, in my opinion. But still, if you buy the bottom and then get a nice run, like 600, 700%, nothing to laugh at, right? Just like, that discussion is kind of funny to me every time, because really, like, yeah, this has been going up since end of 19, but it's still up there, down 98%. You could also say, oh, it's down 98%, so the potential for this to go back up is high. And I mean, maybe, right? Altcoins have been known to do something like this. Just look at Dogecoin, right? But I mean, I wouldn't bet on it going ever to all-time high again. I mean, if you're lucky and this goes mega boom, I think you're lucky to sell in here, which is quite a bit from price. So I mean, you'd be really lucky if you bought the bottom and then sold up there. But I mean, I'm not even expecting it to go that high. But yeah, I mean, it's always a matter of perspective, right? If you bought the bottom, this only goes up. If you bought the top, this only goes down. And if you're looking at it from like someone that's not really interested in buying it, I mean, it looks like a Ponzi, right? Make the DonAlt Kaboom and click like. Yeah, I mean, that would be kind. Whenever I say click the like, please, Cred sends me like some chocolate and some flowers. So, I mean, do make sure to press the like button. ADA have hard fork today. As you said, that one should sell before the news. Yeah, I mean, it's gone down, right? It's gone down last week. I wouldn't want to be holding into news in general. I think the altcoins aren't ready for that yet. But yeah, I mean, whenever you have altcoin news, right, this is how the chart looks. The altcoin news, you kind of know that they're happening if you're involved in the coin, right? Let's say this is some random altcoin that has some good news coming. So insiders and shit start buying, therefore altcoin goes sideways, and then it starts like slowly going up. More and more people hear, oh, this news is coming in, right? And then like at this point, people are like, oh shit, there's going to be a blow off top before the news, because that always happens. So you get like extra buying. But all of these people are just looking for an exit, right? Or like most of them anyway. So you get like some extra buying, it goes up. And then people that are like chilling on the exchange start to get FOMO because they've seen this go up like 10, 15, 20% a day. So they're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. They don't know that there's news coming. They don't know anything really. And then they buy, and that's the blow off top, right? And then all of these people that bought are looking for an exit into that. And sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't, and then it starts going back down again. That's usually how news play out, right? So like a slow move up, and then you have like into that slow move up, like the insiders get the best of the deal, but I mean, it's just how it is in crypto. And then the people that are kind of actively following stuff, getting second piece of the pie, and then traders sometimes get the third, and then everyone else gets the shaft, usually. That changes in alt season, right? Where it does something like you get positive news, and then a blow off tops like completely crazy. It goes back down, goes sideways, and does the same thing again, and then again, all right? But yeah, if you're like in alt season mode, this isn't really necessarily a bearish chart, right? Like and this is why I'm like probably not gonna short it. Like if you remember, like I shorted this, right? Because this is like pretty much what this entire chart was about. Like I was like, this is my reasoning for shorting this, right? Like this entire thing is my reason for why I shorted in here. And I still have that on TradingView somewhere. I think that setup and everything, it worked out pretty nicely. But yeah, that was like a clean technical setup that aligned with my view on the market, right? In this case, my view on the market, or my view on this coin, is that it should be heading down, but with chilling above this range. So I don't want to short, but could easily nuke. Like if I had to make a choice, like if I had to make a trade, I would probably take the short trade. The thing is, I don't have to, right? Like when the technicals tell me, okay, we're trading above the range, I don't want to short into range that should be acting as support, but I don't want to be long into like a news event. Then I don't have to take the trade. That's the luxury that we have as a trader, right? We can just sit there being like, oh, cool, this is not the worst technical chart, but like I don't like the situation all around it. I'm just not gonna take it. And I think that's one of the best things that you can do. Like figure out like, okay, does everything align for me? And if it doesn't, just, I mean, why bother, right? I mean, your money is valuable, and if you throw it out, you're going to be able to risk less in the next trade, and then even less in the next trade. Like the more you lose, like that's one of the cool things like for being a trader, and one of the worst things. Like if you make money trading, like if you're good at your job, you're going to be getting instantly rewarded for it, right? So your money is going to grow. If you're bad at your job, you're going to be jobless, because, I mean, let's say you start out as a trader with $100, and then you trade it to zero, right? I mean, then you can't trade anymore. You need money to trade. And when your job is trading and you just throw your money away, that's tough luck, because once you run out of it, yeah, you're fucked. So, I mean, value your money and don't like just take any setup. And in this case, I'm not going to take the setup to short it, just because like technicals tell me I don't want to be short this. And the news situation tells me I definitely want to be short this. So, I mean, there's two things that misalign or don't align or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just not going to do it. It's obviously different if you have a system around like just trading around the news or whatever. For me, it's like I try to look at both. I try to look at general, like how do I feel about this, and then also how does the chart look. Someone asked about the gold. So we can have a look at it just because you asked so nicely. I mean, I said buy the next pullback. It just never gave a pullback. I mean, I was pretty close, right? Generally speaking, I was like, I don't really want to see a close below this red line, right? And we got a close, and I was like, I don't really want to see another close below the red line. And we got another close, but that close went right into support, right? I don't even know what I updated my last gold post about, but I got really bullish in here, right? Went sideways and then broke to the upside. So I was really bullish down here. It went into resistance. I think that was pretty much my target, right? From here to there. I was like, I'm not sure that's gonna stop. It went up, right? And in general, you have like how many years is that? Like 6, 7, 8? Oh Jesus, it's more than that. Yeah, it's like 7 years or something. Oh yeah, roughly 7 years. So yeah, a 7-year consolidation that breaks to the upside. You don't really be shorting that, right? It's at all-time high. I mean, not really, right? It's just on this chart at the all-time high. It's been trading higher on other back in the past. But in general, like it's at all-time high. You don't want to be short that. Do you want to long it into all-time high? Fuck me if I know. Like I would, like if I had to choose to a long or short here, I think I'd be long rather than short, but I don't have to. Like if you want to be looking for an entry, like maybe down here, but then again, you don't want to see it go back there. Like if you're long, I think you just hold and then you're looking for it to keep this. Like this needs to hold, like chart wise anyways. If there's anything fundamental that changes, right? I mean, just ignore the chart. But as long as nothing changes, the chart tells me like you don't want to see it trade below here. If it does, I mean, tough luck. Then I'd probably start looking to reduce. But yeah, until it does, I mean, it's an all-time high. You don't want to be bearish stuff at all-time high. I think silver's a different story because you asked for silver as well. I'm gonna be nice and do some. That's fucking hilarious, dude. Look at that, like you got this rejection. I've had this on my chart for ages, and then fake out below the range low. I think I wasn't like entirely mega bullish on this down here, which I should have been, like based on the chart. But I was bullish gold, so it's whatever. But yeah, silver is different. Like silver, you don't want to see this month. This is actually going to be an interesting monthly close as well. You don't want to see it close below this red line, I think. If it does, it's probably going to like pull back at least. Maybe even pull back, like give the loom dot entry where it pulls back here and then goes a little bit higher. I don't think it goes quite that high, but like maybe this, and then goes back down, I think. But yeah, it's not markets that I trade, it's just fun charting, right? And for some reason this has worked really well because I've had that trend line for ages. I think I've had that trend line. Did I have it back then? I'm not sure. This might be a little bit too early, but I've had it for quite a while, and once it broke down, yeah, got this retest, whatever. But I mean, it's just me charting something that I don't really actively trade. But yeah, this is my chart if you want to kind of copy charts or whatever. This is the resistance that it's battling right now. You don't want to see it close below. Don't you train with kettlebells? No, dude. I train with... I mean, I pretty much... Like, I went to the gym regularly in the past. And then trading got in the way. And now that I'm kind of like taking it a little bit slower just because I want to focus on like... not only on trading, but also on like friendships and like keeping healthy and shit. So I went back to the gym and then COVID hit. So I got fucked with that. But generally speaking, I just like to climb, surf, snowboard, that kind of stuff. So keep fit by doing that. Not really the biggest gym rat. But yeah. The high time frame charts for the altcoins. Have you guys looked at those? It's kind of funny, really, if you're looking at them, because like this is literally what everyone's talking about, and ADA is a little bit different, yeah. But like for like these ones, this is literally the monthly charts. What everyone keeps talking about. Oh, this is actually nice. XRP back at resistance. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to be following XRP USD. I saw this like 2 weeks ago, like it retesting this support. Didn't make too much of it, but this is the one that's actually going to be interesting. This is monthly resistance, but it's also weekly resistance. So this is going to be interesting for XRP if it can make it up. I mean, might actually get a move up from it for once. Any inside info you can share on what you look for if you get the urge to short-term scope? I mean, generally speaking, like if I want to short-term trade something, like for example, if this did like something really, really stupid, like do something like straight up put a candle like this, like if 5-minute candle and you go up $700, right? I'd probably short into that if it happens. Like try to look when stuff's getting overextended, getting too far away from spot prices. Then I'd probably be looking into like taking short-term trade and then holding it into the monthly close, right? On the short side. And if it closes above resistance, you just cut that. And if it closes below, you just keep it. I mean, that's the only kind of short-term time frame trade that I would consider taking around the resistance, right? So for me, it goes close to the high time frame closes and then does something stupid. I try to fade that. So at support, it capitulates below support like a week before, like high time frame support a week before the close. Gonna be looking for an entry. One of the reasons why I bought this, for example. And then you can like get a short-term entry off of a capitulation or like euphoria and turn that into longer time frame trade based on your higher time frame ideas. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for whenever I'm doing like low time frame stuff. I don't really want to be trading. Like a lot of people seem to really like the back and forth low time frame stuff. I used to do that all the time, and now it's just I feel like I'm wasting my time, like wasting my life away when I sit in front of a computer for like days on end, just monitoring that kind of position. I much rather just look for like crazy moves around like closes, around like generally speaking higher time frame levels, and then see if that works, and if I can turn that into longer time frame trade. But I mean, to lower your portfolio, the lower like in general, the less time you spend in the market, I think, the more appealing the low time frame trades are to you. And I mean, all power to you if you find something. Like if you find an edge, do abuse it. I used to have one on the low time frames, and it got less and less. And at some point, I was like, okay, I mean, it's still decent to trade, but it's not worth my time anymore. So now I'm mainly focused on the low time frame stuff around high time frame levels, and then if I get something, I can ride that for a while, and if I don't, I don't. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. I think we've done a lot. We've went over like at least Bitcoin and ETH pretty well. Went over some of these. I mean, I'm sorry for like saying it, but like I'm looking at these charts, not too sold on like the random altcoins. This actually doesn't look too terrible. XLM, whatever. I'm gonna actually look at that later. But yeah, these kind of like if you're bullish on altcoins, this is the kind of stuff that you're looking for, right? See if there's buyers. See if we can close it in 4 days. Close above like support, and then yeah, see if that's actually something that you want to be trading. Like this kind of stuff wouldn't be too terrible, I think, if you're bullish altcoins. If you're not, I mean, this is pretty much like WeChain, just a little bit more clear and hasn't pumped as much. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for in altcoins. Like if I want to turn bullish altcoins, this is the stuff that I look for. But generally speaking, like the bigger coins is what I'm gonna focus on, and then the closes. Obviously, we talked about that at the start of today's stream. So yeah, thanks again for Bybit for sponsoring the show. Like I said, they have a competition going on, so do check that out. Links are in the description. Not necessarily to the competition. I don't think we have those in the description, but in general to Bybit. And if you check Bybit social media, you're gonna find the competition. So yeah, thanks. Like I said, thanks again for sponsoring the show, Bybit, and thank you guys for coming by, chilling and hanging out. That was fun. So yeah, we'll see each other again on Friday and with Cred, and then Wednesday again with me solo. So yeah, thanks for coming by. See you guys. Bye bye.